Good day, you're watching Inside Taiwan. I'm Ethan Liu. President Tsai Ing-wen reiterated her determination to pursue pragmatic diplomacy instead of so-called checkbook diplomacy. She made the announcement at the airport upon returning from her 90th foreign visit to Central America. She said Taiwan will shift away from the traditional model of one-way assistance to develop mutually beneficial projects with allies in order to create a larger global presence for Taiwan's industry.
President Tsai Ing-wen arrived back in Taiwan on the evening of the 15th.
我们透过亲身经历、亲自体会，看见中美洲各国走出动荡，对繁荣发展的潜力跟期待。
Tsai visited Honduras, Nicaragua, Guatemala, and El Salvador during her 9-day trip. She also met with GOP officials during her transit stops in the U.S. Tsai said her observations would be invaluable for implementing pragmatic diplomacy in the future and creating mutual benefit. In addition, she would add industry and market development to her considerations.
全球的局势正在变化，台湾产业要布局全球，中美洲是具有潜力的一块。我们要让自由贸易协定的效率能够发挥出来。
This was Tsai's second overseas trip since taking office last May. She says her stance on diplomacy is clearer now, and she will contribute Taiwan's abilities to the world.
A National Affairs Conference on pension reforms will be held on January 21st at the Academia Sinica. The Pension Reform Oversight Alliance criticized the government on January 16th, saying it has changed the location of the conference several times already. Moreover, the Democratic Progressive Party has already applied to occupy the road in front of the Academia Sinica's entrance to prevent protesters from gathering. The alliance announced it will stage a hunger strike to express its grievances.
The Presidential Office's Pension Reform Committee recently concluded a series of regional forums on pension reforms in northern, central, and southern Taiwan. Numerous protesters gathered outside each of the forums to express their opposition to the government's reforms. The next step is a National Affairs Conference on pension reforms, which will be held on January 21st and presided over by President Tsai Ing-wen. The government has already changed the location of the conference several times. The Pension Reform Oversight Alliance said on January 16th it received information the location was changed from the Taipei International Convention Center to the Academia Sinica. It also discovered the Democratic Progressive Party has already applied to occupy the road in front of the Academia Sinica's entrance to prevent protesters from gathering there. The alliance criticized the ruling party for stifling the people's right to demonstrate. It also said it cannot accept the government's repeated besmirching of military personnel, civil servants, and public school teachers, as well as its insistence on revoking the 18% preferential interest rate in 4 to 6 years' time. The alliance began a hunger strike on January 16th outside the Legislative Yuan. Several retired civil servants will continue with the hunger strike until January 21st. The alliance will mobilize 30,000 people on the day of the National Affairs Conference to protest and make the government hear their voices.
Taichung Airport has opened its first economy-class direct flight to Saigon, Vietnam on January 15th. Taichung city government is working hard on adding more flight routes to Southeast and Northeast Asia in order to make the airport the central hub for air transits. The Taichung Airport will be expanding their terminals and adding new airport aprons this year in order to contribute to President Tsai's new southbound policy.
Many passengers are lining up in front of the baggage counter and getting ready for their flight to Saigon, Vietnam. VHS Air's first direct flight from Taichung to Saigon has begun operation on January 15th. It is also the first economy-class direct flight from Taichung to Vietnam. Mr. Zhang and his family of 4 are heading to his wife's hometown in Vietnam. In the past, he could only go with his wife every 2 to 3 years due to the expensive airfares. This is the first time that he is able to take his whole family to Vietnam.
不但像这次人数最多应该是泰国，第二个就是越南了，来台湾，所以我们觉得这边是一个非常有潜力的市场。第二呢，这里本身也有所谓的越南越配返乡的需求，这里中部地区也是蛮多的。
The Taichung city government is actively promoting the city as the central hub of air transits. According to the latest statistics, Taichung Airport has seen a total of 2.38 million travelers last year. After the added flight routes to Southeast and Northeast Asia, the number is expected to grow beyond 3 million this year. The Taichung city government is also adding flights to other destinations, including domestic flights. The city will put new construction projects on the ground this year and is expecting to connect the two terminals of Taichung Airport and add more airport aprons by 2018. The goal is to explore the tourism market in ASEAN nations and contribute to the new southbound policy.
Politicians and local residents are fighting for high-speed rail extension to Pingdong. Protesters gathered outside the Pingdong train station to express their support for enhanced bullet train service. Transportation Minister He Cheng-dan, however, has appeared unsupportive of the proposal, while the ministry rushed to clarify that there is already a feasibility study underway.
Demonstrators protest outside Pingdong train station. 6 years ago, local residents started a high-speed rail to Pingdong Alliance on Facebook. The alliance now has close to 1,000 members, and they recently organized their first protest to protect their transport rights. They handed out flyers outside the train station to raise awareness on their plight. Although Pingdong's new train station opened last year and the rail system was elevated, no additional services have been launched or existing services improved. The alliance has many members from outside Pingdong. Both the Pingdong County government and local representatives have called on the central government to respect the rights of Pingdong's 830,000 residents and the 8 million tourists to Kending every year. The Ministry of Transportation and Communications says it is conducting a feasibility study on extending the high-speed rail system, but the alliance says the ministry needs to pick up its pace and start discussions with the public.
Almost 2,000 people were left jobless following the sudden dissolution of TransAsia Airways. A job fair exclusively open to them was held, where 26 companies offer more than 1,000 job openings.
Several job applicants fill out forms while others study the job openings. The Workforce Development Agency and the governments of Taipei City and New Taipei City jointly organized a job fair for TransAsia Airways employees on January 16th. 26 companies offering 1,400 positions took part in the job fair to help the airline employees find new positions or switch careers. Many of the companies were in the aviation industry. Far Eastern Air Transport posted 500 openings, while China Airlines, Mandarin Airlines, and Tiger Taiwan also offer positions. There were also companies representing the food and beverage and telecom industries who said they were in need of the special skills held by flight attendants and ground staff. TransAsia Airways announced its dissolution in November without any prior warning. The airline has yet to reach an agreement with its employees over compensation.
A Panama-registered cargo vessel sank after it suddenly tilted to one side off Kaohsiung Harbor. The military and the Coast Guard pinpointed its location and arrived at the scene after receiving the SOS signal. All 13 Indonesian crew members aboard were rescued.
Upon receiving the SOS signal, the National Airborne Service Corps, or NASC, immediately approached the Panamanian bulk carrier Tongcheng 601. The vessel had tilted by 30 degrees by noon on January 14th, and the NASC helicopter sent down rope ladders to rescue all the crew members waiting on deck. The vessel's exact location was not clear when it first sent the SOS signal. Fortunately, the Coast Guard quickly pinpointed its location in waters 26 nautical miles west of the port of Kaohsiung. The NASC dispatched 2 helicopters to the location and rescued all 13 crew members. However, some of the cargo had fallen into the sea and are still floating. The vessel sunk in the afternoon. The Coast Guard administration has sent out warnings to ships passing through the area on the floating cargoes. All the crew members are safe and have been sent to Kaohsiung International Airport. They are looked after by the Coast Guard administration and are waiting for their return to their company.
There has been a great deal of criticism over National Taichung Theater renting its space to an American direct sales company on the 10th. National Taichung Theater art director Wang Wenyi gave an explanation and said all commercial events at the theater would be cancelled.
Many artists were angered by footage of an American direct sales company recently holding an event at National Taichung Theater. Theater art director Wang Wen-yi says excluding an existing booking for a Mercedes-Benz members event, the theater will not host non-art and culture events in the future. The theater initially defended the direct sales company booking, but has since done a 180 due to public criticism. Even the new chair of the National Performing Arts Center weighed in, saying the booking was inappropriate. Wang says the theater is under pressure to raise 70 million NT dollars, but it will look for other sources of revenue. The theater has been at the center of numerous controversies since opening last year. Wang claims the theater accepted commercial bookings to allow the public to get closer to the theater. However, local art and cultural groups say the barrier for entry is so high that few organizations can get in, and the theater at present does nothing for local arts.
The Long-Term Care 2.0 plan took effect on January 1st. The plan recently incorporated dementia sufferers over 50 years in age. However, some doctors say there's no case management system for the long-term care of dementia sufferers. They advise the government to refer to the system for diabetics to reduce the burden on society and medical resources.
There are approximately 260,000 dementia sufferers in Taiwan. However, there are only 70,000 dementia patients with disability cards. This shows there are many dementia sufferers who haven't been diagnosed or who are hiding their illnesses. Some doctors say under current National Health Insurance Administration regulations, only neurologists and psychiatrists can diagnose dementia and prescribe medication. They believe more doctors should be given the authority to make diagnoses, such as family doctors. This will result in earlier diagnoses and treatment of dementia. There are also doctors who believe the government failed to properly think things through before including dementia sufferers over 50 years in age in the Long-Term Care 2.0 plan. They say the country lacks a case management system for the long-term care of dementia sufferers. They say there should be case administrators tasked exclusively with helping dementia patients and their families. This will reduce the burden on society and medical resources. The doctors advise the government to follow the system in place for diabetics.
Patients with abnormal brain function may no longer require surgery in the future, thanks to a new medical breakthrough. Shanghai Hospital studied over 1,000 patients over the past 6 years and treated them with the new and less invasive gamma knife radiotherapy, which not only shrank tumors but also allowed patients to go home within 3 days after the treatment.
Ms. Huang is a tour guide in her 40s who sought medical attention for ringing in her right ear. Tests revealed a tumor in her cerebellum. She underwent gamma knife radiosurgery and was able to quickly return to work. This form of treatment uses radiation to destroy precisely selected areas of tissue instead of excision with a blade. The treatment attacks tumors with 192 precise beams of radiation that converge at the treatment site to create a powerful dose of concentrated radiation. Radiosurgery is non-invasive and suitable for patients with tumors less than 3.5 centimeters long. It negates the need for craniotomies, and patients don't need to be put under. On average, patients go home 3 days after the procedure. Over 1 million patients have undergone gamma knife surgery worldwide to date, and the procedure is covered by national health insurance. People experiencing single-ear tinnitus or an unsteady gait should seek immediate medical attention.
我相信在日常生活里面，每个人都有几个印章，但是在印章印件的文化里头，没有艺术存在的空间吗？答案是有的。过去的像齐白石、吴昌硕，都创造了非常丰富的篆刻文化。但是对于在台湾出生的年轻的篆刻家刘明凯来说，显然传统是不够的，还需要创新，需要跟 fashion 做结合。你好奇吗？请收看由我为你主持的《文人这集》。
位于宜兰的南澳，拥有宜人天气、地景风光。居住在此地的泰雅族人称为南澳群。南澳有个美丽的传说。日治时期，少女沙运为了日籍老师背负行李过河，却不慎落河。为了感念她，此地设立了沙运之钟，使得南澳在原乡韵味之外， 另有一番特殊的文化氛围。在南澳社区，随处可见鲜明的泰雅风格，建筑外观装饰着以红、蓝、黄等颜色为主的部落彩绘。泰雅文化馆内呈现着早期的生活器具与故事传说。透过这些陈设，你可以看见属于南澳群的泰雅故事。编织技术是泰雅祖先流传下来的重要技艺，但是不同的部落有着不同的呈现。南澳是以红色、黑色加上蓝绿色以及桃红色为主。
织布对我们泰雅族来说，它是生活的一部分，因为现在一般的人都对我们的文化很有兴趣。那为了他们能够接受我们的东西啊，所以我们都会加入一些新的创作这样子。
黄老师将条纹及菱形等图腾元素呈现于织品之上，而编织在泰雅文化中不仅是实用而已，更有着重要的教育意义。
像我手上拿这个就是平织，平织几乎打的都是那个条纹，条纹的意义就是我们彩虹桥的意思，就是要通往祖灵。那这个是用菱形纹，你知道我们泰雅族来说，菱形纹代表就是祖灵的眼睛，就是保护我们的意识。
探访美丽南澳，感受山水宁静，在编织文化中体验泰雅族的生活智慧与传说故事。宜兰南澳有着泰雅生根的文化之美。
Welcome back to Inside Taiwan. I'm Ethan Liu. Hehuanshan and Yushan received their first snowfalls of 2017 early on the morning of January 16th. The snow turned the mountain and the highway into a winter wonderland. Police immediately implemented traffic controls, turning away cars that didn't have snow chance.
Due to below zero temperatures and abundant water vapor, Hehuanshan received its first snow of the year shortly before midnight. 4 hours later, Yushan received its first snowfall of the year. Close to 1 centimeter of snow fell over a period of 15 minutes. Police quickly implemented emergency traffic controls on Spur Route A of Provincial Highway 14. As the section between Wuling and the Hehuanshan Visitor Center was icy, only vehicles with snow chains were allowed to pass. As of press time, the snow has already melted. Taichung Weather Station says another cold air mass is headed Taiwan's way on the 22nd, but snow is not expected due to inadequate water vapor.
A non-profit preschool in Hsinchu recruited 30 pairs of students and parents to form a volunteer team who organized a New Year's meal for disadvantaged senior citizens at the school. Residents from the 5 villages were invited to enjoy the festive meal.
Elderly residents sampled the dishes prepared for them by students and parents. Parents say being on the volunteer team provides their children with a lesson in character education. Many businesses around the preschool also contributed to the outreach program, donating tissues, clothes, and other daily necessities. The seniors say they could feel the love of the community. The school, meanwhile, says it hopes the meal can encourage society as a whole to help seniors and others in need so that everyone can have a happy new year.
The Tzu Foundation hosts a year-end dinner for the vulnerable households. On top of the free meal, the foundation has also set up a free clinic and distributed aid for the families. According to the foundation's statistics, the year 2016 saw an increase of 15% in vulnerable households.
Many volunteers are busy at work. Some are in charge of cooking, others are filling up the plates. The Tzu Foundation hosts a year-end dinner for the vulnerable families. The foundation has hosted a total of 416 dinner gatherings in Taichung City. Many who came to the dinner are first-time guests, and they say they can all feel the warmth. Mr. Wang has joined the dinner for the first time. He has been suffering from muscle atrophy since the 6th grade. He used to be joined by friends for Chinese New Year's in the past, Miss Tai also suffers from disability. Her right calf was amputated due to illness. The operation put her in dire financial straits, and she relied on Tzu Ji Foundation's help many times in the past, and has come to the dinner to express gratitude to the volunteers who helped her. Members of the Tzu Ji Foundation said that many vulnerable households cannot gather at the Chinese New Year's Eve for various reasons. That's why they decided to host the dinner gathering ahead of time to let these families enjoy the New Year's atmosphere. According to the statistics of the Tzu Ji Foundation's Taichung branch, the year 2016 saw an increase of 15% in vulnerable households compared to 2015, and the number has been climbing every year. The analyst said that the stagnating economy and the aging population are the main reasons behind the increase.
Only those who persevere in the face of obstacles are the real champions. Many athletes shared their experience on how they grew stronger after overcoming setbacks.
Marathon runner Zhang Jiazhe runs up the stage and greets the public. He represented Taiwan in the 2012 London Olympics Games. When he was in the 8th grade, he often ran around in the schoolyard when he did not feel like staying inside. That was 20 years ago, and he kept running ever since. He has competed in Taiwan's national games, the Asian Games, and has run 3 times in the IAAF-sanctioned marathons. He was placed 77th in the 2012 London Olympics marathon. Zhang said that past injuries and performance bottlenecks are never failures. The biggest failure is that the society as a whole does not recognize the value of sports. Zheng Qihong, a professional baseball pitcher playing for Taiwan's China Trust Brothers, has shown outstanding performance on the field since he was small. Upon graduating from high school, he was signed by the Toronto Blue Jays of the National Baseball League. However, his 6-year career in the United States was anything but smooth. He said he reached his peak performance in the 3rd year and won that year's MVP. However, he suffered a shoulder injury during a training session soon after and was released by his team. He trained in Texas in the past few years and had gradually found his rhythm back, and he earned a spot in the starting lineup last year. This is weightlifter Guo Xingchun, a bronze medalist in last year's Rio Olympics. He won gold medals in the 2013 Asian Games, Universiade, East Asian Games, and World Championship. However, she suffered a severe injury right before the 2014 Asian Games when a barbell dropped on her right thigh. Guo said that she had to ponder about her life and career on a wheelchair for a while, but that also gave her a new perspective. She looks forward to performing on a high level again in this year's Taipei Universiade.
Pan Chao is a Hakka literary writer who also excels at Chinese brush paintings. Recently, he was invited to become a resident writer and painter in Guoxing Township. His diversified talents won him the 2016 Yushan Literature Contribution Award given by the Nantou County government. Pan is the youngest winner in the history of the awards.
Inside the exhibit, visitors take time to enjoy Pan Chao's works, which are displayed by 4 different categories. People are enjoying the abundant and diversified content of the display. Pan Chao says that he's encouraged by the Yushan Literary Award. In the future, he plans to continue ecology observation and to write down detailed records to share with the public. Through his writings, readers may better understand Taiwan's special variety of morning glory flowers and different types of frogs in the surrounding environment. The Nantou County Cultural Affairs Bureau invites the public to the Bureau Library before February 26 to explore Pan Chao's intricate literary works.
Taiwan began growing tobacco over 70 years ago. However, starting in June, Taiwan Tobacco and Liquor Corporation will stop acquiring locally grown tobacco, and many areas will stop growing the crop. A Zhanghua Hakka Cultural Association recently organized an event to give people the opportunity to take part in the last tobacco harvest.
Children wearing bamboo hats listen attentively as their elders instruct them on how to pick tobacco leaves. Although many of the children are too short to pick the tobacco leaves, they still have a good time trying to pick the leaves. Harvests are normally joyful events, but this one was tinged with sadness. Taiwan Tobacco and Liquor Corporation will stop acquiring locally grown tobacco in June, and many farms that have grown the crop for over half a century will no longer plant tobacco. A Zhanghua Hakka Cultural Association and a local community in Fenyuan Township organized this tobacco harvesting event to give people the opportunity to participate in the last tobacco harvest. During the event, local residents also brought snacks on carrying poles into the fields to feed the farmers and harvesters. Fengyun Township used to have 130 hectares dedicated to tobacco. These days, there are only 9.
Embrace the ocean and enjoy the beautiful scenery. The sunny Xiaoliuqiu awaits you.
Welcome back to Inside Taiwan. Now let's find out what's happening in Taiwan's cultural scene. That's all for today's Inside Taiwan. I'm Ethan Liu. Thank you for watching.